In this Circuits of the Past video, we'll show you the top 10 abandoned racing circuits in Germany. I apologise in advance for all the names I'm about to butcher. Number 10. Motordrome Gelsenkirchen. We'll start at the unknown abandoned circuit named Motordrome Gelsenkirchen. Motordrome Gelsenkirchen was a 0.466 miles short club circuit in the west of Germany. It opened in 1969 as a gravel track first of all, and then became an asphalt track in 1977. The track was used for amateur stock car racing. It was a road circuit initially, but in a way it had some characteristics of a quarter-mile oval. The official name of the track was Motordrome Gelsenkirchen, but the locals referred to it as the Alma Ring. Alma was the name of the cooking plant on the site, and Ring is German for circuit, so it was actually nicknamed the Alma Circuit. However, in the early 1980s, the Alma Ring became the opposition to environmentalists and local residents who complained about the noise. That led to the closure of the track after the 1984 season, and since then the track has been left abandoned. But while most abandoned racetracks are actually illegal to enter, this one can be visited legally. The site is now a park, and the overgrown track now an asphalt path through the woods. If you'd like to visit the abandoned racing circuits but don't want the trouble with the owners or the police, this is the one for you to go to. On the website www.circuitsofthepast.com, you can download a free ebook with 7 abandoned racing circuits that you can visit legally. At the end of this video, we'll share the link to the ebook as well, so please stay tuned till the end, because I'm about to tell you a bit more about the people behind this video. With the exception of the number 9 circuit on this list, all the footage has been filmed by Hermann Lischmeyer. He's the founder of the Circuits of the Past website and YouTube channel. You'll see him throughout the blogs that he's entered here on the Motordrome Gelsenkirchen. My name's Simon Smith, and I do the voiceovers for Circuits of the Past videos, and have a gaming channel on YouTube called Higher Plane Games if you're interested. Number 9. Prinzen Park Street Circuit. The Prinzen Park Street Circuit is one of the many unknown abandoned racetracks in Germany. It was located around a park in the city of Braunschweig and was in use from 1948 through to 1951. Back in 1946, there was already a post-war car and motorcycle race that took place on a street circuit near Braunschweig. That track made use of the Autobahn, which was actually a miniature version of the famous Avis. After the 1947 event, the local government didn't want to close the Autobahn for racing anymore, so the event moved from the 1948 edition onwards to a new location around the Prinzen Park. The event settled on the Prinzen Park Street Circuit for the next few years. In the summer of 1952, another race was supposed to take place around the Prinzen Park. But only a few hours before the start of the race, the Braunschweig district government banned all races within the city for safety reasons. That was the end of the Prinzen Park races. Gotta love government. All the roads of the Prinzen Park Street Circuit are actually still there today, and doing a lap of the old circuit is still possible, although not by car. Since the roads inside the park have since been closed off to traffic and repurposed as pedestrian walkways, you could run, walk or cycle round the track, but that's about it. So now you know the reason why the lap around this track was filmed by bicycle. Unlike the rest of the video footage on this video, this footage of the Prinzen Park Street Circuit was filmed not by Hermann, but by local Yannick Holstein, so thank you very much Yannick. Especially for the Circuits of the Past website, Yannick has written an article about the lost racing circuit in his hometown. You can also find a video containing the full lap with Yannick's own commentary alongside it on this YouTube channel. Cool, I'd be knackered after all that pedalling. Number 8. Avis. We've already referred to it before in this video, but here's the Avis, and it's based in Berlin. And this is probably one of the most famous abandoned racing circuits in Germany, if not on the global stage itself. The Avis is actually an abbreviation for Automobil-Verkehrs- und Übungstrab, which is German for Automobile Traffic and Exercise Road. I've probably horrifically butchered that, so Hermann, please do the honours.
Automobil-Verkehrs- und Übungsstraße.
Thank you very much, and I'm so sorry to everyone in Germany, and generally the world. In fact, the Avis was an experimental multiple-lane highway which could be used as a racetrack too. The Avis opened in 1921 as a 12.16 mile long street circuit. The layout was simple and weird. 2 almost 6 mile long straights connected with an artificial loop on both sides. In 1936 there was a reconstruction when a new road was planned to the exposition site next door to the Avis. The Nordkurve, German for North Corner, should make way for this new road, but as a compensation, the new high-banked version of the Nordkurve was built instead. Actually, a similar high-banked corner was also planned to replace the Southern Loop. The works were already underway when World War II broke out, and today you can still see the remains of the unfinished South Corner. In 1959, the Formula One German Grand Prix was held on the Avis for political reasons. You can find out more about that in the video Top 10 Lost F1 Circuits. For safety reasons, the high-banked North Corner, nicknamed the Wall of Death, Jesus Christ, was demolished in 1967 and replaced with a flat corner. Through the years, the straights were shortened and chicanes were added to the layout, but the Avis was still a dangerous track. In the 1990s, the Avis was used for Formula 3 and touring car races. During a touring car race in 1995, British driver Keith O'Dore died on a crash in the North Corner. It was the latest in a long line of incidents, and so the Avis received increasing criticism. When a new track was built not far from Berlin, the Avis was closed for good in the 1998 season. There would be one finale event though in 1999 to wave a fond farewell and goodbye to one of the most strangest and weirdest long-lost racing circuits from Germany, and indeed the world. Number 7. Grenzlandring. The Grenzlandring was a 5.7 mile long street circuit in the west of Germany. Because it was located next to the Dutch border, it gets the name Grenzlandring, which is German for Borderland Circuit. The Grenzlandring had a very fast oval-shaped layout and was originally driven anti-clockwise. There are some sources though that claim that the driving direction was changed to clockwise later on. The Grenzlandring actually has a very funny origin story. Not quite the superhero Marvel films that you've come to experience though. At the beginning of World War II, a transport route was needed to the Western Front. Because heavy military equipment needed to be transported, a surface of concrete was chosen for the new road. After the war, the road was then used as the ring road around Wegberg. One night, the mayor of Reit, a town close to Wegberg, was lost on this road. When he passed a cyclist for the 3rd time in a row, he realised that he was driving round in circles. He asked German racing driver Emil Vorster, who was living in Reit at the time, to investigate this road to perhaps make it into a racing circuit. And so that's what happened on the 19th of September 1948. The first races were then held on the Grenzlandring. The fast street circuit was only operational for a short time though, from 1948 up to 1952. In 1952, August 31st to be exact, a grave accident took place which took the life of 13 spectators, and so the authorities banned racing on this dangerous street circuit from then on in. Today, the Grenzlandring is still a public road around Wegberg. Some of the points have changed though to connect to new roads, so you can't exactly drive the same circuit that it used to be. Number 6. Old Sachsenring. Today's Sachsenring is most famous for its annual German Grand Prix for the MotoGP. But did you know that it was originally an 8.73 km or 5.425 mile long street circuit first? Today most of the original layout is still there, only the start-finish has actually been demolished for the construction of the new permanent track. So we'll start our lap a little further on down. It all started on the 26th of May 1927 when the first races were held for motorcycles at the square-shaped street circuit. In 1937 it then became named the Sachsenring, a name that would quickly become established as a name to be reckoned with in motorsport. In 1936 and 1938 the European Grand Prix was held on this track, which is comparable of the same type of importance as today's MotoGP. However, when in 1939 World War II broke out, all motor racing in Europe stopped. After the war, the Sachsenring was in Russian-occupied zones at that point, which would then become the DDR, also known as East Germany. As early as 1949, the spectators streamed back into the Sachsenring in droves, but from 1961 through to 1972, it was called the East German Grand Prix, and that was what was held on the old Sachsenring as part of the Road Race World Championship. After the end of the World Cup races, it became quieter for a little while, but the races with 2 and 4 wheels still continued as usual, but with only Eastern European participants. It wasn't until 1990 that races for everyone would start back up again. For this edition, a chicane was built in the section through the village, but it was the last year before a break for a time because the circuit was found to be too dangerous. To continue racing, a plan was made to build a new permanent racetrack. The new Sachsenring opened in 1996, and the German Grand Prix for motorcycles, now MotoGP, returned in 1998. Number 5. Solitude Ring. The Solitude Ring was a street circuit near the city of Stuttgart in southern Germany, in the district of Leonberg. It was named after Castle Solitude and hosted various motorcycle and automobile races. Already back in 1903, hill climbing competitions were organised near Castle Solitude. In 1925, a 13.857 mile long street circuit was put into action, with a start-finish right near the castle. In 1931, the circuit was shortened, and by 1935 a new layout was created too. This new layout was 7.146 miles long and contained parts of both previous layouts. The start-finish was no longer near Castle Solitude though. Just like the previous versions, the track was still driven anti-clockwise. The last races at the Solitude Ring were held in 1965. Again, like many others on this list, the track was found to be too dangerous, and the Ministry of Internal Affairs banned racing on the Solitude Ring. Today, most of the old street circuit is still there and can still be driven on normal road speed. The permanent control tower is still there too, and in good condition. It's an office building for the Leonberg Motorsport Club. Since 2011, there's actually been a revival on the old Solitude every 2 years. Sadly, the 2021 edition was cancelled due to the coronavirus, but hopefully it'll be back with us again soon. Number 4. Deutschlandring. The Deutschlandring was a permanent racetrack under construction near Honstein. It was actually a prestigious project from Hitler, but the motorsport history of that region actually started way back earlier. From 1926 to 1932, hill climbs were organised on a public road near Honstein. In 1933, Adolf Hitler came to power in Germany. Under his rule, huge construction projects were set up, including the construction of a racetrack near Honstein. The name of the new circuit would be Deutschlandring, which would be translated into English as Germany Circuit. Later, the name was changed to Grossdeutschlandring, which in English is Great Germany Circuit. The Grossdeutschlandring was meant to have a length of 10 kilometres or 6.2 miles and had a mandate to accommodate 1 million spectators. Whew. It should also become a serious competitor for the Nürburgring. The preparation works were done by prisoners from a nearby concentration camp. After a construction period of 6 years, the Grossdeutschlandring was festively inaugurated on April 26, 1939. A year later, the German Grand Prix was to move from Nürburgring to the Grossdeutschlandring. However, everything went a little bit differently when World War II broke out in September of 1939. After the war, Germany was divided into 4 sections, from which there were created 2 new German states. Honstein was now in the German Democratic Republic, also known as East Germany, and that was a communist dictatorship. Under the new rulers, the track was renamed back to Deutschlandring and was used just one more time. That one time was on the 14th of October 1951, but during that event 2 drivers were killed. After this tragedy, the circuit was never used again. The abandoned racetrack then became part of some public roads, but they were also used for illegal racing. To prevent speeding, chicanes, rumble strips and road narrowings were built in 1990. In 2016, Hermann filmed a lap on the old Deutschland Ring. Unfortunately, when he watched back the footage, he discovered that the camera was not centred correctly, so hopefully you can forgive him for the mistake, but when he gets back there in the near future, hopefully, he'll attempt to do a new video for us all. Number 3. Opel Rennbahn. The old Opel test track, officially named Opel Rennbahn, opened in 1920 as a test facility for the Opel factory in Rüsselsheim, Germany. It was an oval track inspired by the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Soon they saw the commercial potential, though, of the track and started to organise races across weekends. For these occasions, they built 5 grandstands around the track, which could accommodate 50,000 spectators. Beside motor racing, the large proving grounds around it were also great for markets, exhibitions and performances of Opel's own music chapel. But when in 1927 the Nürburgring opened, and in 1932 the Hockenheimring opened, the Opel Rennbahn basically got shafted by the competition of modern tracks. In the 30s, less races were organised, and when World War II broke out in 1939, motor racing stopped. After the war, the Opel test track was used by the American Army to test military vehicles, but after 1949, the track was closed and left abandoned. Everything goes quiet for a good 40 years, and then in 1987, the abandoned circuit got given the status of a monument, and it's a monument for industry and technology. Today, a part of the overgrown track has been cleared, and it's now equipped with an observation platform, so that you can view over and bask in the Opel Rennbahn itself, as a monument to industry and technology. Who would have thought it? Number 2. Nürburgring Südschleife. The abandoned southern loop of the Nürburgring can be seen as the forgotten part of this iconic racetrack. When the Nürburgring opened in 1927, the complex included the famous 14.17 mile long northern loop, a 1.4 mile start-finish loop, and then a 4.8 mile southern loop too. Whew. While the prestigious northern loop was used for international races like the German Formula 1 Grand Prix, the southern loop was intended for much smaller events. The official name of this section is Südschleife, which is actually German for southern loop. After 1975, the Südschleife became disused, and when the Nürburgring lost the German Grand Prix in 1976 after that terrible crash from Niki Lauda, plans were made to modernise the Nürburgring as a whole. Victim of modernisation was the old Südschleife. To build the new Grand Prix circuit, they demolished the old start-finish loop and the northern part of the Südschleife. What was left of the Südschleife became public road, or entrance roads for parking, but there is still a section left abandoned which can be visited legally. If you want to know how to get there, you can download that free ebook that we keep shilling out to you, 7 abandoned circuits that you can visit legally, over on the website circuitsofthepast.com. There'll be a direct link on the end card too, so you don't even have to leave this video. Okay then, are you ready for number 1? Number 1. The old Hockenheimring. You probably guessed it by process of elimination, but the old Hockenheimring is probably the most lamented circuit that is missing by the fans that loved it most. What we call today the old Hockenheimring, though, was actually the 3rd version of this track, so let's dive back in time and find a little bit more about it. The Hockenheimring opened in 1932 as a street circuit, which was driven anti-clockwise. It was an initiative from local motorsport enthusiast and assistant timekeeper Ernst Christ. Many sources claim that Hockenheim was originally built as a test track for Mercedes, but it's not true at all. It's one of those urban myths and misconceptions that have been reported over and over and over and over again by reporters who do not check their facts. Naughty naughty, slaptourists. We have a video specially dedicated to 10 of these urban myths and misconceptions on this channel too. The first change to the Hockenheim layout came in 1938. That year, the section with the famous Ostkurve was introduced to cut off the section through the village of Oftersheim. In 1964 came another change when the section through the village of Hockenheim was replaced by the Motodrom. It was at this point that the Hockenheim Ring became a permanent racetrack and the driving direction was changed to clockwise. Today this version is seen as by fans as the old Hockenheim, but as I said, it was actually the third version of the track. Through the years, chicanes were built in the fast sections through the woods to improve safety. When the Nürburgring was no longer found suitable for Formula 1, the German Grand Prix shifted its focus and moved to Hockenheim in the 1970s. But with the popularity of Michael Schumacher in the 90s and the opening of the new Lausitz Ring, circuit bosses feared the loss of the Grand Prix, so a plan was made to modernise the track. For once, we can't blame Bernie Ecclestone for this, or the FIA, it was all down to Hockenheim's own initiative itself. A new section, designed by Hermann Tilke, was built. To compensate for the fallen trees for this new section, the old track would be demolished to plant new trees in instead, and the new track opened in 2002. Sadly though, the reconstruction was a financial disaster, which brought Hockenheim to the brink of bankruptcy. Thanks to government intervention, the track could be saved from downfall, but with the taxpayers' money of course. All that was left of the old Hockenheim was this straight, which ran from the Ostkurve through to the Senna chicane. While we watch the remains of the old Hockenheim, I want to let you know about the Circuits of the Past website, where you can find out more information about bygone racing of Circuits of the Past. You can visit it by going to www.circuitsofthepast.com and grab that free ebook of 7 abandoned racetracks that you can visit legally. You can also check out other videos on this YouTube channel and subscribe and click on that notification bell so that you get notified of all our future new videos. For now though, thank you so much for watching and let us know down in those comments what your thoughts are about your favourite abandoned racing circuit in Germany.